This Read 180 topic is made possible by a grant from
Kellogg's Rice Krispies, who reminds you, books are totally overflowing with cool stuff. Get in on it. Wake up to the amazing world of reading.
And by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and the annual financial support of viewers like you.
There are two sides to every argument, right? A point and a counterpoint. Well, keep that in mind as you watch the next set of videos about 4 hot issues that people do not agree on. It may be a bumpy ride, but your VJ Nathan will take you through it. And no fighting, or I'll turn this car around.
Speaking of bumpy rides, I know the topic of this first video is near and dear to your heart. Driving. Ah, the ultimate freedom, right? Well, before you start your engines, I'm going to show you what some states are doing to limit that freedom. It's for your own good. Or not. Watch.
The driving dilemma.
16 years of waiting to drive can seem like forever to a teenager. And the wait just got even longer.
Buckle up.
Under a new system called graduated licensing, teens in most states now have to wait up to 2 extra years to earn full driving privileges. Is this a plot to ruin their lives?
I have to have a life. I can't just stay home.
Actually, it's a plan to save lives. Car crashes are the #1 cause of death for American teenagers. Experts believe that teens will have fewer accidents when they learn to drive more gradually, first with an adult, then with restrictions. No driving at night, and no driving with just other teens in the car. Are young drivers being punished just for being teens?
I think it's a very unfair law.
I just think it's wrong to limit all teenagers just because a few make mistakes.
I think it's a privilege to drive at our age. I don't think people should look at it as like a punishment.
For teens who are determined to drive right away, the new law is a big disappointment.
It is disappointing that I won't be able to be the one driving to the movies or wherever with all my friends.
I was really looking forward to being able to drive on my own since my parents can't drive me everywhere.
It's no longer the ultimate freedom, it's the ultimate freedom with a couple more rules.
Can new teen drivers be trusted behind the wheel? Or should they have to wait to earn full driving privileges? Immigration is a special topic for Americans, because almost all Americans have families who came from somewhere else. But when the government has to decide who gets to stay and who doesn't, it gets pretty sticky. Where do you draw the line? Maybe this video will help you decide.
Coming to America.
Scenes like this happen every day in America.
One's in the water, man in the water!
Desperate refugees caught by the Coast Guard as they sail into the U.S. in rickety boats and homemade rafts. Or border jumpers, defying patrol guards and risking arrest to find a better life in the United States. The U.S. lets in about 1 million legal immigrants every year, but thousands of refugees are turned away unless they have special permission or they can prove that they face persecution in their own countries. Should America close its doors on them? There's lots of disagreement over this issue.
You have to close your doors sometimes. You can't keep letting everybody in.
Some people say the United States is too crowded already. Our cities and our schools can't absorb any more people. And new immigrants take jobs from Americans who've lived here longer.
You can't let just anyone come in because there's a limited amount of resources.
Other people say that America has always been a land of immigrants, and it isn't right to turn people away.
When Christopher Columbus came to America, nobody asked him for ID or any paperwork.
They argue that immigration is good for the country because immigrants bring in different ideas and new talents.
A lot of the strength we get comes from the fact that we are many different kinds of people in one huge country.
This country was built on immigrants. So how can you hurt immigrants that come here to try to make a better life for themselves?
Should America limit immigration? Or should the door be open to anyone who wants to live in this country? People can get pretty emotional about sports. I mean, a totally normal person can go nuts over a close game or bad call. And as you'll see in this video, even the name of your team can be very controversial. See what you think.
What's in a name?
Team loyalty is everything in sports. But what if your team's name or logo or mascot is offending people? It's a big issue for Native Americans who find the images of Indians in professional and college sports to be disrespectful.
Change the name and change the logo!
This has sparked a national debate over whether these teams should change their names.
It's not about baseball. It's about racism. It's plain and simple.
You gotta take it easy. It's just a sport.
The fans who love these teams don't want to part with their names or their mascots. Teams like the Cleveland Indians, the Washington Redskins, and the Atlanta Braves have been around for decades. And many fans say the Indian symbols are just part of a long tradition that doesn't hurt anybody.
I mean, we don't have any disrespect for the Indians. We don't have any disrespect for anybody. That's just our logo.
But many Americans think the team symbols make Indians look like cartoons, and they mock the traditions that are sacred to Native Americans.
Those feathers are sacred. They're part of Indian religion.
These kinds of caricatures and stereotypes and symbols dehumanize Indian people.
Many schools have already changed their team names out of respect for Indians. Should all teams change their Native American names and mascots? Or are sports traditions just harmless fun? This next video is not so easy to watch, so don't say I didn't warn you. I mean, most people probably don't want to look at helpless animals being used for medical research. But the benefits of this research are another story, and that's what makes this a really hard issue. Watch, you'll see what I mean.
Should animals have rights?
Doctors told this car accident victim that he would never walk again. But now he's recovering, thanks to a new drug. And some cats. Doctors developed and tested the drug by intentionally giving the cats spinal cord injuries. So here's the question. Is it okay to hurt or kill an animal if it benefits human medical science?
When do we want it? When do we want it? Now!
Animal rights groups say no. And they use everything from advertising to protests, to laboratory break-ins to make their point, that cruelty to animals is never justified, especially when there's no guarantee the treatments that work on animals will work on humans.
Other species are not objects, they're not things, they have feelings as we do. We live for a day when there are no animals in the labs.
But many people think that's a bad idea. Animal testing has led to thousands of important medical discoveries. Dogs help scientists discover insulin for diabetics. The smallpox vaccine came from cows. Monkeys are being used to develop anti-AIDS drugs. Over the past 20 years, animal testing has been cut back by 40%. But researchers say that animals still offer the best hope for finding cures in the future.
At the present, it's absolutely mandated that we use animals in research.
Is using animals for medical testing too cruel? Or is it necessary so that cures for diseases can be found?
The debate is over, and the winner is you. You made it through this topic, and you can take on another one.